हाउ टू फॉलो टाइम टेबल बिकॉज इट ब्रेक्स एवरी टाइम आई मेक, वो तो मेरे साथ भी होता है। जब तक टाइम टेबल एनफोर्स्ड नहीं होता है तो टाइम टेबल टूट जाता है। बट जैसे मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ, वो टूटेगा, इट इज सपोज टू हैपन। बट जब एक बार टूट गया, क्या आपने कोशिश की कि मैं उसको फिर से अचीव करने की कोशिश करूं, मैं फिर से टाइम टेबल में जाने की कोशिश करूं? अगर आपने किया, दैट मीन्स यू आर डूइंग योर बिट। अगर आपने नहीं किया, इसका मतलब आपने हार मान लिया, गिव अप कर दिया। सो इट्स अप टू यू। अगर आपको आपका गोल, आपके लाइफ का लक्ष्य, अगर वो लार्जर देन लाइफ है, मतलब आपको अगर दिन रात उठते जागते वो आपको आपके सामने दिख रहा है, तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल नॉट गिव अप ऑन योर ड्रीम्स। एंड देखिए, फेलियर इज एन इंडिस्पेंसेबल पार्ट, आपकी लाइफ का वो एक अभिन्न अंग है फेलियर। उसको एक्सेप्ट करिए, एक्सेप्ट करने के बाद उसको कैसे डील करना है उस पर वर्क करिए। जो कर गया वो चैंपियन, जो नहीं कर पाया वो वहीं रह जाएगा। भंवर, one common thing among all para SF operatives, the resilience, the extreme determination of yourself, that I will not give up, come what may. That is very, very important. Ram Balak, thank you. Let me read. Jai Hind sir, remember we met at Shakwaw en route to Sashak Glass Hut at Lambui, Tijuna. Buddy, I am extremely sorry. I'll drop me a message and I'll see. Sir, your views on the new combat uniform. Good question, Anirudh. Again, see, understand the concept. Why did we evolve into the concept of making uniform with camouflage pattern? You must have seen the movies, the Vietnam War era movies on television, which would be completely olive green. And then you would also see movies of the Second World War wherein the German troops had good camouflage. Camouflage is to help you to blend in the background. How does it give you an advantage is, you don't give out your position while you are trying to fire or you're trying to blend in and collect some information. That is how it helps you. So India is a country which has mountains, which has icy mountains wherein you have permanent snow cover. It has deserts. It has a big, I'll say, sea line, coastline. You got subtropical rainforest in northeast. So you cannot have one template, one color combination, one kind of camouflage to take care of the complete terrain wherein we are fighting operations or we are supposed to fight in a conventional war. It is impossible. And all the good countries across the world have accepted that, and they have developed or they are in the process of developing uniform or the fatigues or the combat built up the pattern, the combat pattern wherein it helps them to blend. So I don't see one digital combat pattern doing good in all the places. Blend with the surroundings much better than the French camo patterns used presently in the armed forces. Ojasvi, I completely agree. The last combat pattern was no good for the operations. No good. This one is a shade better, but there is so much more we can do. That is how I think. Joint operations with Marcos, Mallu, Don. Marcos are very, very professional. I have had around 3 or 4 joint operations. I'll not say operations, exercises. They're very, very professional. They're very, very, I'll say, committed to their job. They are wonderful people who know what they're trying to do or doing, and they are expert in their domain, which is again the water. And I have some very, very good friends, seniors and juniors and course mates who are Marcos. And yes, Ignition sir, I have seen that every SF member learns many skills but specializes in at least one, like advanced weapons, medical, navigation. Is that true? And if so, could you talk about your expertise? My primary skill, that is what you call your primary skill. My primary skill was demolition, and I was pretty good at it. I did pretty well in my probation and in my basic commando course in Belgaum. I believe I had the highest marks. I believe, if not the highest, the second or third highest, because in Belgaum, while we did this commando course, I got this plaque for being the best in special skills. So best in special skills included demolition, reflex firing, rock climbing on the on a rock surface, obviously, and there were other few things. I believe it was the combat obstacle course. So I was pretty good at the primary skill that I had, which is demolition. Rugged Maverick, history of 11 para, timeline. So know that it was raised in Agra in 2011, and then after it was raised, after a year or so, we moved to Northeast to operate, and that is where we specialize both in conventional and sub-conventional warfare. That is where we have our expertise at. It is in the northeast part. हर्ष सुदन सर, आपके फिटनेस एंड डिसिप्लिन के बारे में बताइए. सी, फिटनेस इज अ कंटिन्यूअस जॉब. I've had many injuries and I still carry the pain and trauma of those injuries, both my shoulders, deltoids, knees, back, and I slowly learned that doing the high intensity stuff every time is not very wise while you try and keep yourself very, very fit. Running every day is not important. Lifting weights every day is not important. All of us have different body types. If you give your body some time to realize, and if you are somebody who is slow and steady, I believe you have better chances of maintaining the kind of fitness that you have. And you see what Mr. Milind Soman is doing at his age. It's incredible. You see, look at his journey, and there are so many good examples. So you need not achieve the peak of your fitness in your 20s and 30s and then just leave it and get into a zone wherein you have nothing to do with fitness. So fitness is a journey. आपको हर दिन कुछ ना कुछ करना पड़ेगा, and you have to discover the ways which help you to keep fit. So that is what I would say. Harsh, please tell about your first operation when you just passed out from academy as lieutenant. I had my operation when I was almost a captain. I didn't have any operation while I was a lieutenant, because it takes time to get into a zone wherein you can find the opponents or the militants or the terrorists. Why has there not been a COAS from the special forces? If yes, then could you please name? No, we have no COAS from our regiment, and the politicians or the bureaucrats will be in a better place to answer this question. I think they are the people who make this final selection in the final stages. Maybe they'll be able to answer. Curious about the vision problem I have. I can't see far of things, but is it possible to correct it with laser and then join the army? I cannot comment on the medical standards required to join the army, but yes, once you join the army, believe you me, you are medically fit to join the SF, provided you clear the probation. Major Mohit Sharma died in 2008 and Avinash Sahani in 6th term. Thank you, unknown poll. Thank you for bringing it out. Major Mohit Sharma was way senior. He's very senior to me. We are from different generations. Sir, please tell us about workout routine in gym. भाई मैंने जिम आई थिंक पिछले 6 महीने में एक बार, 6 महीना नहीं आई थिंक मैं 1 या 1.5 साल से जिम नहीं गया हूँ, बट आई हैव बीन एबल टू मेंटेन माय बॉडी. सो जिम का मेरा कोई पर्टिकुलर रेजिम या रूटीन नहीं है, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट अ सर्टिफाइड इंस्ट्रक्टर. मैं आपको नहीं एडवाइस कर सकता हूँ कि आप इतने मात्रा में, इतने रेप्स में, इतने सेट करिए. दैट विल नॉट बी गुड ऑन माई पार्ट. जस्ट टू गेन पॉपुलैरिटी और फॉलोअर्स, मैं नहीं कर सकता वो. मेरी मेरी आत्मा मुझे परमिट नहीं करती वो सब करने के लिए. Why don't we see many para SF officers among the top brass? Again, it's a question which is beyond me. It's a diplomatic question, so no answers. Sorry. Why is 21 para SF permanently situated in Northeast? See, staying in a particular Himalayan maverick, staying in a particular region gives you the advantage of knowing the terrain, knowing the modus operandi of the militants. It helps you to establish a good intel base. So there are so many advantages of staying and operating in a particular environment. Yes, there are some cons. I mean, there are some disadvantages. But yes, if the advantages are more than disadvantages, the senior officers that tend to take that call. But if you ask me personally, I believe each guy or each unit should have an exposure to all the kind of operations that are happening in the country. Because tomorrow, if you have a war in a particular zone or a particular part of the country, you will expect your special operations team to be there. So if there is one unit, one organization, one subunit which has not been exposed to that part of the country, so I think that's a disadvantage. That's a big disadvantage. What is the difference between Naxals and terrorists? It's a subjective question. Naxals are somebody who believe in the concept of, I'll say, they're mostly your indigenous people. They have been brainwashed because of the left ideology. They have picked up arms to show their might or force against the government. Initially, it made sense to some people, wherein the locals had all their support behind them, but now it's a concept which is not as popular because there are, the government has intervened. The government is constantly trying to bring in the development in those backward areas which were suffering, and the Naxalism is not very popular among the locals. Let me tell you that. Terrorism is, again, it's a concept of trying to enforce what they think, what their ideology is, using the terror as the tool. डरा के, धमका के, मार के अपना message government को बताना. The government could be your government, the government could be somewhere else. The way Pakistan is using terrorism to try and send us their message that Kashmir or J&K belongs to Pakistan. It could be anything. Sir, you like sniper or AK guns? Nihar Mohapatra. Okay, I like assault rifles. I like assault rifles. Can you tell us about Vikas units from SFF, especially the 4 Vikas or SG? Absolutely no. Myself, Ayan Saha, the answer is absolutely no. Because that is something which is confidential. It is not supposed to come out. It will not come out. What challenges did you face operating in Northeast? The challenges that I faced, the biggest problem is the weather. You have torrential rains for almost 8 months. So you're all wet while you're operating. You have all kind of insects and mosquitoes who are trying to, suck the blood out of your body. Leeches, mosquitoes, so many different kind of bugs. The availability of fresh water while you're operating in that terrain. You don't have too many sources of fresh water. So all that water you intend to drink for the next 5-7 days has to be carried. So that adds a lot of weight. And the humidity is high most of the time. So the kind of dehydration that you have because of the high humidity is again a big problem while you try and cover the intended distance that you've planned on map. Sir, a moment of service wherein you thought you died, Vaishnav. Not so. मरते हुए तो मेरे को कभी ख्याल नहीं आया कि मर जाऊंगा या मरने वाला हूँ. डेंजरस सिचुएशंस, हाँ, फ्री फॉल में कोई इमरजेंसी हुई, डाइविंग में कहीं डिफिकल्ट जगह करने गए, ऑपरेशंस में व्हेन यू हियर दोस साउंड्स, कहीं आईडी ब्लास्ट हुआ, यस, बट मर जाऊंगा ऐसा वाला feeling I don't remember. What will you be taking as lunch during operation? During operations in lunch, I would very selectively choose that kind of food which has no smell first, because the moment the food gives out the smell, your operation is compromised. So it would be mostly chocolates and anything that can be taken dry. It could be sattu, wherein you have wheat and chana gram, उनको पाउडर करके उसमें थोड़ा चीनी और नमक मिलाया हुआ है. You add little water and then you take it. It's very nutritious, easy to digest, and it gives you enough calories to continue with your operation. So please save this live, Ashwini Raj. I will try and save this live. View on misfire of BrahMos on Pakistan. It was a very unfortunate incident that the missile was fired, and I think we should restrain from such activities. Hi Mayuri.